Major Hollow Knight Oversights.
You want to hear something crazy? People have been telling me that Path of Pain has issues. Issues? What do you mean? This place is wonderful. Besides, who would find any of these on their own? Anyway, if you want to see a real oversight, come with me to the tram. If I just exit here and walk to the right... Did you notice that? Run that back, me. My character does a little jump here. Looks like the hitboxes weren't lined up correctly and you just never noticed. But if I have to be honest with you, these are baby level oversights. The further we go, the crazier these are gonna get. Okay, here's one you can easily see just by having Isma's tier unlocked. Go to this room in Greenpath, then jump into the Aspid right here, and I hope you like it down there, because the game does not want you to leave. Almost every single time I try to jump out, I get immediately put back in. Get me out of here! But hold on, there's more. Did you notice how, for some reason, the game automatically submerged me deep into the Aspid? Well, because of that, I can hide under this platform and there's basically no way to see me. Peekaboo! But don't think for a second this is the only broken Aspid pool. In the last episode we covered the one outside of Isma's Grove, but not too far from that one is another broken pool. I just need these bees to cooperate with me, and then, voila! Now I'm walking under Aspid, just like last time, but much easier to trigger. Hey, you!
What?
Are you tired of being pushed around?
Oh, not this guy again.
Sick of others telling you where to go?
Get out of here.
Do you have a strained relationship with these mushrooms because it took you way too long to figure out how to use them since the game never properly taught you how to pogo? Well, fret no more, because I've got the solution. You just hit that sassy shroom with a desolate dive or a cyclone slash and you'll scare the living bounce out of it. Apparently this also works with Great Slash, but I only managed to do it once by accident. Oh, and some mushrooms don't even require intimidation, they've already lost their bounce. Poor thing. You know, when I read the comments and somebody suggests something completely outrageous, I'm usually doubtful that it'll work as I go to test it. But incredibly, around I'd say 80% of the time, what you're telling me actually works. That's freaking amazing, people. I've got some of the most awesome viewers on the internet. Look at what happens when I push this shadow creeper with a sibling from the abyss. He just kinda keeps going, no concern for gravity. Although he does look a little bit confused. Well, you and me both, buddy. But surely this wouldn't work on a lesser Molech? Well, I'll be damned. Okay, so we all know that Gorb is a very powerful being. But did you know that he's actually powerful enough to create invisible, pokeable objects in his Godhome arena? Well, believe it or not, it's true. Both in the attuned and ascended layout, somewhere in the right part of the arena, you can pogo on the floor. I checked his original arena in Hellonest, suspecting the issue might originate from here, but to no avail. It's so weird, but I guess that's just another reason to never doubt the power of the almighty Gorb. For those of you wondering why I'm going through these oversights so quickly, it's because we've got so many to cover. And I'm sure you'd rather see what quirky things they're out to discover about Hollow Knight than hearing me talk. So here's a little bit of a darker one. If you lure these Mantis youth down close to the throne room and then defeat the Mantis lords, what do you think happens? Well, the youth aren't there anymore, so they probably went back to sleep, right? No, they did not. In fact, they're nowhere to be found. Who took the children? I'm not sure I want to trust this tribe anymore. Then we've got two quick oversights in Godhome. First of all, this cube apparently blocks your crystal dash, which is a bit strange. And second of all, even once activated, this switch remains pogoable. Maybe this was intentional for some reason, but I doubt it, given that this other switch in Godhome does not remain pogoable once activated. If you haven't watched the other episodes in this series, I'd much recommend checking them out after you're done with this one. There's a link down below for those curious. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel? I'll be making content once Silksong comes out, but perhaps more importantly, I'll do my absolute best not to spoil you with crazy thumbnails. so you can safely be subscribed to the Holland channel even when Silksong drops. Thank you so much. Quick question. How many Watcher Knights are there in the front row of their battle room? If you said 6, then according to the wiki, you're right. If you said 5, then you're on my team because I thought there were only 5. But if you said 7, then you're actually right. Because even though you're only ever fighting 6, look at what happens if I go break the chandelier after defeating the knights. Clearly, the chandelier crushes a 7th invisible knight. I suppose that's what he gets for hiding while his brothers fight valiantly. What a coward. Okay, this is gonna be fun. You look at the screen, just look, and you tell me if you see something off-putting. Anything? Well, I kind of hope not, because then this might blow your mind. Look right here. Crazy, huh? 2 black dots at the edge of the sprite apparently made it into the game and have never since been removed. Impossible to unsee, right? Now that's what I would call a major Hollow Knight oversight. One of my favorite things about these Hollow Knight oversights, apart from them being major, is just how easy some of them are to replicate. For this one, all you have to do is enter the failed champion's dream world, go to the arena, climb up the wall, and then use the crystal dash. And bam, he's able to damage you even before the fight begins. So long as you're able to reach his hurt box, you'll be taking damage even though he's completely invisible. And guess what? You can't even hit him back, because he's also invincible. What a dirty cheater. Get down here and fight me like a man, you scoundrel. This next oversight comes courtesy of Mr. Switchy. Apparently, if this footage is to be believed, he managed to pogo on Nightmare King Grimm's thick skull without dealing any damage. Now, how is this possible, you might ask? I don't know. I figured maybe what was happening is that Switchy pogoed on Grimm's flame trail, but after some testing, it doesn't appear like you can actually do that. So if any of you brilliant minds happen to know why in this one instance Switchy was able to pogo on Grimm without dealing any damage, please let me know down below. For now, this one remains a mystery. This oversight is what a staunch liberal might refer to as problematic. Not only does it contain a spoiler for the final boss of the game, although I'll try to hide as much of that encounter as I can, but it also contains rapid visual movement. So here's a trigger warning for those who get sick by looking at rapid movement, and those who are equally sickened by spoilers. You guys can just skip to the next oversight. For the rest of us, let's have some fun. Okay, so first I went to this statue in Godhome, if you know, you know. Then I entered the fight and used the Dreamgate right as the boss was about to show its title screen. And believe it or not, I got this one first try. That never happens when I'm supposed to time things. Anyway, using Dreamgate while in a Godhome fight teleports you out of the fight. But this time, something's clearly off. The screen won't stop shaking. It's pretty cool, but man is it intense. I tried fighting Gorb to see if he could make it stop, but the only respite I got was every time he made an attack. After that, the shake would return. And even once I defeated Gorb, the shaking wouldn't stop. So then I quit the game and man, oh, that was nice. Damn, what a crazy oversight. Some would even call it major. Major Hollow Knight. Anyway. Here's another one to do with those rooms in Fungal Wastes. If you ever need a reason to be cross with them, just charge up a nail art. Yes, thank you, that's plenty. Nail arts and bouncing definitely do not go together. Okay, now it's just you and me, let's brainstorm. Do you think there's a way to cheat the game into letting you activate Fury of the Fallen while at more than one mask? Right, so first of all, you can't answer, and second of all, that's rhetoric, but let's get there slowly. Some of you definitely think this is possible because one of you suggested you might be able to do this just by picking up a charm notch at one mask. That did not work for me, but then I read something about Hive Blood and Fury. Maybe Hive Blood can heal you without Fury noticing. Well, sadly not. When going from 1 to 2 masks using Hive Blood healing, Fury does in fact notice and deactivate. But what about throwing Joni's Blessing into the mix? Is that enough to confuse the game? Well, yes it is. It actually is. Notice the red glow around my screen? Fury is still active even though I have 2 masks to my name. If you want further proof, look at this debug screen. You can see that I have a 1.75 damage multiplier until I sit on the bench. We did it, folks. We broke Fury. I wonder whether this has any practical implications. Alright, so I know that NPCs just kind of teleport to Dirtmouth once you find them in Hallownest, but while most of them do it relatively discreetly while you're not looking, Sly has no time for such immersion. Look, I talk to him inside the hut, exit, then immediately re-enter and he's gone. How did he manage to sneak out in a second without me noticing? What a sly guy. In the episode that kickstarted this whole adventure, I showed you a classic Crystal Dash oversight involving the Mantis Lord's arena. I should have known, but it turns out that this is far from the only time in the game where you can get some strange visuals by using Crystal Dash at the right time. So here you have a few more examples. Now for oversight number 17, yes, we're on oversight number 17, we'll be returning to good old Soulmaster. Firstly, you can quite easily pause the fight halfway through by simply going to the left or right just before he breaks the floor. Even if it's your first time fighting him and you're stuck in the animation of collecting the fake Desolate Dive, you can stay on the top floor using a dash and the Monarch Wings. Okay, fine, maybe that's not a real oversight. So what about this one? The first attack Soulmaster performs in his second phase does not have a hurt box. Now that's pretty weird. And then once you're done fighting, using Crystal Dash allows you to go through the collectible upgrade. To be fair, this seems to work on every collectible. And then finally, if you manage to position yourself just right, you can get stuck in the ceiling, falling forever. Look at me, mother, no hands. Man, this boss fight never fails to surprise. Now, I should have made this the final oversight, and it sort of is, but even after this one, I've got 3 more bonus oversights. They're bonuses because not all of them are oversights, but they're nonetheless quite interesting, so I would stick around if I were you. Anyway, for this last proper oversight, I've got something really crazy to show you. Here's the setup. Unlock the Lifeblood door in the Abyss, making sure to have already collected the Dreamgate. Then place a Dreamgate inside the door on the very edge of the screen. You probably know where this is going. Then go through the challenge room and collect Lifeblood core. And finally, once you wake up outside the now shut door, teleport to your Dreamgate. And bam, you're now stuck inside the map geometry. Moving around a little, I was easily able to get underneath the floor. And man, this is so trippy. I wouldn't actually believe this were real if I weren't able to recreate it myself. And this is latest patch, so you should be able to do it yourself just by going into the game. Unless they come back and fix it. So crazy. Some viewers have suggested that although hitting Crystal Guardian with Dream Shield now does wake him up, doing so with Defender's Crest still does not. Sadly, this also appears to have been fixed. In the last episode, I showed you how, after summoning enough bees from a husk hive, newcomers would eventually stop being able to attack you. Somebody asked whether this was possible to do with all summons, which is a pretty reasonable question. While I test this out, notice how these hatchlings aren't able to go inside this spiked area, or even this lower platform. Well, if I turn on hitboxes, you can now see that there's a special type of hitbox that prevents them from moving here. I'm honestly not quite sure why this is, although for the top one, maybe that's so the enemies don't hurt themselves on the spikes. Anyway, even after waiting for dozens of hatchlings to spawn and die, I could not get any of them to stop damaging me. Maybe it does work on more than just the bees, but it does not appear to work with all summons. Now, in the last myth-busting episode, I discovered that you cannot die to the environment in the cast-off shell. Usually, one of the falling rocks will be able to damage you for 1 mask, unless you only have 1 mask remaining, in which case it'll spare you. But then some very clever viewers suggested that perhaps you could cheat the system by overcharming and then getting hit while at 2 masks. First, I tested whether getting hit at 2 masks without overcharming was possible, which it was. And then I overcharmed, and to my great surprise, the rock now spares me at 2 masks. If this is manually coded, I would just like to say this. That's damn impressive, Team Cherry. What a crazy edge case to have covered. Hats off to you. Oh, hold on, wait, I did forget actually one final oversight. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not subscribed to the channel, are you? Man, that's truly a huge oversight. Good thing you can remedy it just by hitting the subscribe button down below. And hey, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in Silksong.